All men, every single man in the world is an evil, vile human being. And here's why. If you have by some chance had your head buried in the sand and not seen a Buzzfeed video, not listened to the nightly news or checked out The Project, you may not know that all men are disgusting pieces of shit. Every single last one of us. And it's a little known fact that if you have a penis between your legs, then you are to be blamed for absolutely everything. I am standing right here, a straight white male, BuzzFeed's enemy number one. But it's an interesting world where, because of my gender, because of my skin color, and because of my sexual preference, me and people like me are the only group that it is okay to hate and okay to judge just because of their skin color, their gender, and their sexual preference. It's funny because it seems like people who feel like they have been oppressed for such a long time now have the balance of power and are oppressing the oppressors. I am the enemy. But why? Throughout the cultural evolution of the West, we have developed into this world where we don't have real issues. Sure, your boss is a fuckwit, you've put on weight, you were late for whatever. Doesn't matter. You didn't go to sleep hungry last night. You're not worried about going to sleep tonight because a bomb's going to drop on your house. You're not fearful that a lion's going to come in and steal your baby. You're not worried about where you're going to get water tomorrow or how you're going to get medical attention if you need it because it's thousands of kilometers away. If I told people 400 years ago that for 1 week I will give them food, water, and shelter, they would be fucking ecstatic. It would be the happiest week of their bleak existence. And yet, somehow, our lives, no matter what happens to us, no matter how positive they are, no matter all the amazing things, the technology, the benefits that we have for being alive in 2018, our lives somehow find a way to become a tragedy. You see, our brains are wired in this way. They need to find problems. They need to find things that they need to overcome. They need to worry about. They need to be concerned about. That is the reptilian part of our brain, the survival area of our brain that has to be active. And I very much think it is through this sadness, this anger, this fear that we have developed into a culture where victimhood and playing the victim is seen as a victory. It's seen as something that is monetarily positive. It is seen as something that can be sold and something that you can benefit from. And that is very much a negative. Victimhood culture is rife throughout the Western world because it is far easier to blame someone else for your problems, your struggles, your fears, your worries, than it is to accept them, to address them, and to conquer them. All that energy, all that fucking feeling needs to go somewhere. And over the past few years, we have seen that go in one direction, towards something so vile, so disgusting. It's gone towards men. Men are now being attacked for being men. This movement is led by a group of egotistical, outdated, and angry thinkers known as feminists. Toxic masculinity, male patriarchy, internalized misogyny, rape culture, so on, slut shaming, and so forth. All of these made up terms are designed for one thing: to make men seem as the most evil, vile pieces of shit that have ever walked the earth. Now, you may actually think that. You may actually watch this video as a woman and think, no, I fucking hate men. You don't hate men. You hate the men that you have encountered within your life. And that's okay. But what's not okay is to judge an entire gender by a few people that you've met. Because there are pieces of shit that are men. And guess what? There are pieces of shit that are women. You cannot define an entire gender by 1, 2, or 10 people. You cannot define an entire gender by 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people. This whole identity politics bullshit by judging people on the colour of their skin, their gender and their sexual preference is fucking bullshit. We need to learn as a society to judge people on the content of their character. Is that not what people push for the longest time? The feminist movement is something that I will address soon, when the time is right. But right now, I would like to use one example that I have been pondering upon for some time. I didn't use this example when it happened because everyone was so angry, and rightfully so. This piece is a perfect example of the media using a horrible event to push their agenda, to push their idea, to push their bullshit gender politics, identity politics, fucking rubbish, to sell fucking ad space to the people who already agree with them. Now, people are going to be upset by the example that I use, but I think it is important that we address this. Earlier this year, a young woman was walking alone in a park in Melbourne, where she was horrifically murdered and brutally raped, and her life came to an end. It's a disgusting experience for anyone, a tragic end to a young life, and it left the city of Melbourne and the Australian population in general feeling just horrible. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, the media picked up this story and ran with it. When this murder took place and they found the man who was responsible, who did the media blame? Well, they didn't blame the man who was charged for the horrendous attack. No, they blamed 3,855,227,862 people. They directly pointed at men for this attack. It was their fault. And it wasn't just a single portion of the media, it was the media in general. They ran with this story for weeks because it sold papers, it sold news space, it sold ad space, and everyone made a shit ton of money. Great. Hooray. It seems that they can all benefit from tragedy. I guess that's what they're built upon. But there was one news outlet, one group of people, one section of the media that we all know are pieces of absolute shit who lie to their brainwashed, weird fucking audience on a nightly basis. I am talking none other than the fucking Project. They produced a video that was written, that was designed in a way to make everybody feel so horrendous that it would go viral and they would grow their social media channel. I bet after they produced this video, there was some fucking pats on the back in their media department. Well done, everybody. We did it again. Well, let's have a look at that video. Let's check out Lisa I Don't Get Paid Enough Wilkinson.
Every day, women are told how to behave, what to wear, where to go, and where to avoid for their safety. And I'm not sure we should be listening to every word of advice. If you're a woman living in 2018, you'll be very familiar with this advice.
Take responsibility for your safety. Make sure that you have situational awareness. Make sure that people know where you are. And that, if you've got a mobile phone, carry it.
People need to be aware of their own personal security.
Everyone gets told how to be safe, okay? Everyone gets fucking told that. How do you not comprehend that it's not just women that are told to be safe? I have been told to be safe. Probably you as well have been told to be safe. Why? Because there's fucking psychos everywhere. You need to be safe. Regardless of what gender you are, it doesn't matter. There are fucking psychos around, and if you tell people that they need to listen to other pieces of advice rather than avoiding situations in which they may be killed by some fucking mental case, that's not a good piece of fucking advice. It might be a viral video, but not good advice, Lisa.
This time, the advice was delivered by police after the alleged rape and murder of 22-year-old Eurydice Dixon. But it's a sentiment we've heard before.
I suggest to people, particularly females, they shouldn't be alone in parks. We just need to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more security conscious.
All good pieces of advice. Not just for women, but for anyone. Unless you're some Rambo-looking motherfucker with a sawn-off shotgun up your ass to protect yourself in times of need, you need to heed these warnings. This is an unpopular opinion, once again. Women need to be more careful than men. Even though, if you want to look at the facts, more men get killed through violent attacks than women, but, let's not worry about facts in this video, because apparently they don't matter. By and large, The vast majority of women are unable to defend themselves against a man because by and large, on average, not everyone, just on average, men are bigger than women, perhaps more powerful and stronger than women. And I'm not talking to you massive bodybuilding fucking steroid abusing women out there that bench press fucking jockeys for fun. Talk about averages, all right? You just have to be more careful. It's a sad fact, but it's a fact.
I feel like when men are attacked, it's all about the attacker. It's all about he's a coward punch. What is wrong with this guy? Who behaves like that? And then when women are attacked, it's all about the victim.
We are talking about a horrific person committing either of these attacks. Man on a man, or a woman on a woman, or a man on a woman, or a woman on a man. Regardless, they are cowards, they are horrible people, and I think we know that as a society. And the funny thing is that Michelle Laurie, the comedian here, is talking about how the media reports it. You are the media. What the fuck are you talking about? You have an opportunity. You have been on radio for years. Where were you when all this happened? Why didn't you bring that up then?
Chances are she was being both careful and vigilant because she's a woman, and that's what we all have to do.
I try and avoid public transport as much as I can. I actually have crossed the road and avoided walking in back streets before because there's been probably a totally innocuous person trailing behind me and I've been nervous.
Who hasn't done that? Listen, I'm 6'8". I'm 106 kilos because I'm eating fucking too many chicken nuggets at the moment. Jesus Christ, Maccas, can you put your fucking prices up? I have done that. I have crossed the road. I've avoided public transport. I've avoided certain people because they look sus. It's what you do. You do it because you know there are crazy people out there. You don't do it because you're a woman. Everyone fucking does it. What are you talking about?
We're told we're not allowed to walk home by ourselves at night.
No one has ever told you you cannot walk home by yourself at night. People probably suggest to you that you shouldn't. And guess what? You shouldn't.
There's so much advice, so many rules around what we should do and what we shouldn't. It's hard to keep track of just how we're supposed to keep ourselves safe. Don't go out at night. Don't walk alone. Don't wear short skirts. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't find yourself near strange men.
You'll see Lisa throws in some, pretty obvious points there. Don't find yourself alone, don't walk alone at night, that type of thing. And then throws it in with other things that we need to react to, like don't wear a short skirt. You should be able to wear short skirts, of course. Absolutely, you should be able to wear short skirts. But by mixing those in together, she tries to evoke this emotion of outrage. Very clever.
Women killed at the hands of violent men. Yet it's women who are being asked to change their behaviour. Look, I have huge sympathy for the police. They're tasked with the impossible job of keeping us all safe. So of course they're going to say anything they can to do that. The problem is when they say this.
Take responsibility for your safety. Make sure that people know where you are and that, if you've got a mobile phone, carry it.
Did you hear that? We're the ones who have to take responsibility.
Of course you're the one who needs to take responsibility. Listen, here's the thing, Lisa, and to any woman who was watching this or man who's watching this that disagrees with me up until this point. It is a horrible world that we live in. There are psychos around every corner, and it would be lovely to live in a world where you could walk down the street and not have a worry at all. But that is not the world that we live in. That is not the world that existed 100 years ago or 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. And it probably won't ever be the world that we live in because everyone is just so vastly different in the way that they compute information in their head. Some people see someone walking down the street that is smaller than them and they don't think anything of it. They get on with their day. And then a very select few, a very strange few, a very fucked up few see that person as a potential target. And that does not happen because someone is born a man. It happens because of someone's fucked up childhood, something that's happened to them previously in their life, or they're just wired poorly and that is how they act. That is the problem here. It's not caused by fucking men. And this is what Lisa will get into now. The cause of all these horrible things.
They're focused on how to prevent this crime at the individual or micro level. If one woman doesn't walk at night, that one woman won't be attacked. But the problem with giving this...
Lisa's reading this teleprompter and she's doing very good to choke up at the right moment. It also works very nicely with the very sad track that they've added in the background of this video. They really know how to evoke some emotion in their strange viewers.
The problem with giving this advice is that it keeps that one woman safe at the expense of all women's right to move freely.
Every woman, every man, everyone has a right to move freely and safely. It doesn't mean that you will. There's always potential threats. And if you live a life where you think you're going to get through life without running into these threats, bad things could happen to you. It sucks. It's shit. But it's true.
And the best way to prevent this crime and keep all women safe isn't by changing the behaviour of women, but by changing the behaviour of men.
All men. All nearly 4 billion men on the planet. Change your fucking behaviour.
This might upset some people, but honestly, parents, instead of telling our girls not to walk through parks, maybe we should be telling our boys not to rape them.
That's right. She said that on national TV. Lisa Wilkinson, the former co-host of Carl Stefanovic, that'll fucking get under your skin, said that on national TV, that we should not teach young women to be safe, but we should teach young boys not to rape them. And I couldn't agree more. I think we really should, in between biology class and PE, a non-rape class just for the boys, because I know that there are far too many young boys growing up thinking it's okay to rape. Don't we all think that growing up? Of course we fucking don't, you fucking idiot. No one thinks that. Everyone knows rape is not okay because it's illegal. If everyone thought it was okay, we'd be fucking carrying on like the fucking Vikings when they just raid villages and rape everyone. Okay? We've moved on from that. The Vikings, that was a rape culture. This is not a fucking rape culture, you fucking muppet. I hate to freak everyone out and use a Trump phrase, but you're spreading fake news, Lisa, and we can all smell the bullshit coming out of your fucking mouth.
And you boys have to talk to your mates, and you have to make them understand that violence against women is wrong. It's really, really wrong.
Very proud of you, Lise. Well done.
I do not have to talk to my mates. I don't have to explain to any of my friends that it's not okay to murder and rape someone or stalk someone or do something horribly illegal. Why? Because I don't associate myself with those people. If you have to discuss with your mates not to do that, they shouldn't be your fucking mates. This is so fucked up from the project. It's so fucking typical as well. They take a tragedy and they use it for their own benefit. Fuck you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for now on this particular subject. I'm working on some other videos at the moment that delve into it as well. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this whole weird subplot to the whole cultural victimhood complex that's currently going on in the world. Let me know below what you think and what I should cover next. Anyway, I've got the shits now, so be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Au revoir.